So I have the delight of introducing our next speaker. Her name is Meghan Eoff, and she is a registered dietitian here in Denver, Colorado, and she's a little bit different. She's an outpatient nutritionist. So you just heard Leanne say, go see a nutritionist. Well, this is the lady you need to see, okay? So, you know, sometimes people just say, oh, go see this or go see that. Well, you know what? Let me give you some solutions. So these are the kind of people you're going to learn from. These are the people who are going to help and guide you. She's a registered dietitian. She's from California originally. She's been here for several years. She has a very, very busy practice in nutrition. And what I want her to do is to tell you the value of seeing a nutritionist. I think you saw it, right? It's complicated. Everyone's different. Everyone needs professional guidance. Goodness help me, I still don't know how to file my taxes. So I need a professional. So someone like Meghan is going to do it. And she's also going to talk to you a little bit about the nutrition for the caregivers, right? The caregivers are also important people. And so having them be strong and healthy is important as well, too. So please, everyone, Meghan.
Thank you so much. Okay, so like it was previously mentioned, my name is Meghan, and I'm a registered dietitian. I work with a local private practice called VitalRD. So we do outpatient telehealth, so you can be at the convenience of your own home or wherever you shall be, and it's a video conference call. And we do accept most insurances, so if that is a financial means, just please reach out to us, okay? So I am going to primarily be talking about nutrition tips for caregivers. However, it doesn't mean that we can't apply that to the patients. We're just gonna modify them based off of what Leanne was saying, so that way it better helps suit our symptoms. Next slide. So why caregiver nutrition matters. So there was actually a really great researcher who recently retired from University of Michigan, and she said that a cancer diagnosis to a patient is also a cancer diagnosis to the family because of the cascading effects that come along with it. So we really just wanna make sure that everyone feels supported and that you are able to have your cup full so that way you can show up as the caregiver that you wanna be. It's not an easy thing, but I know that it's something that we all love to do. We love to care for our loved ones, but we also need to turn that love inward as well. So more commonly, the responsibilities that come with being a caregiver are going to be that it can be emotionally, physically, and timely demanding. You have different appointments, you're helping manage the symptoms, you're seeing your loved one struggling, and you want them to feel better. But at that same note, you also have your life that you also have to manage too. So combining those can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. Selflessness, so obviously caregivers tend to neglect their own needs, but we want to switch that up a little bit. And then support, so proper nutrition allows you to have the stamina, mood, and immunity, again, so that way you can show up as a caregiver that you want to be and also support your own immune system too. So in summary, you can't pour from an empty cup, and nutrition fuels resilience. Next slide. So common challenges, this doesn't mean these are the only challenges, and that is one thing that we can always work on one-on-one. Everyone has a different lifestyle, they have different things that they are trying to work through, but these are the most common ones that we see with caregivers. So there's skipped meals and fatigue, reliance on processed foods, loss of appetite or emotional eating, and limited time to cook or shop. Next slide. So I'm gonna go over tips on how we can work through those challenges, but I'm gonna kind of feed off of what Leanne was doing and just kind of give you a review of the core nutrition principles so you can understand why we recommend what we do. So when you are tempted to have something that maybe isn't as supportive, you can remind yourself, oh, that's right, okay, I don't need to go for that cookie, I can go for this other healthier dessert option instead, and such. So you have your proteins. They're gonna help build and repair body tissues, also will help with your immune system. We have our healthy fats. That's gonna support brain and heart health. You have carbohydrates, so that is your body's main source of energy, absolutely. And then vitamins and minerals, so that's gonna strengthen your immunity as well and help you with overall energy. Next slide. So the best sources of those healthy foods, and again, this is coming from a caregiver's perspective. We will modify these if we need to navigate through different symptoms. But in general, we have our fruits and our veggies. So those are gonna be rich in fiber and antioxidants. We want the fiber to help with our gut health, and we want the antioxidants to help with our overall health and help prevent disease and conditions. You have your whole grains, so those are gonna help with digestion and energy levels, because those are a carbohydrate and they're high in fiber. We have our lean proteins, so your fish, your chicken, your eggs, your plant-based proteins like tofu, tempeh, beans, but those will help support muscle and tissue growth as well. And then you have your nuts and your seeds. So these are gonna be packed also with antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. You have the healthy unsaturated fats that will help with inflammation internally in your body. And fat and carbs tend to taste really good on the tongue. That's why we tend to usually want high carb, high fat items. So if we are gonna choose to have a carbohydrate and or a fat, we obviously are trying to get those to come from the healthier sources, your higher fiber carbs and your healthy unsaturated fats, more than your saturated and trans fats and your simple carbs. Next slide. So, generally speaking, these are 4 primary goals. If looking at all 4 of those seems overwhelming, I always tell people just start with 1. And that's up to you to decide which one you want to start with. It could be the easiest one right now that you can fit into your lifestyle. Maybe you have a lot of other burdens going on and it seems a little bit overwhelming, so you can just focus on one of them. Or you could approach it with whichever one's gonna help you the best. So which one's gonna give me the most benefits, the best bang for your buck. So we have balanced meals. And so the plate is super small, but it'll be put in your handout packet. But you want 1/3 or less coming from lean proteins, and then 2/3 or more coming from your vegetables, fruits, and your whole grains. That plate is coming from the American Cancer Institute, and so that's just the way that they're able to help you stay healthy lifelong. So it's gonna look like making your meals have a lean protein, a fiber, and a healthy fat. Again, your fiber can come from what we call our non-starchy veggies. So that's gonna be your broccoli, your tomatoes, your leafy greens, but fiber can also come from those complex carbs. So your sweet potatoes, your quinoa, your brown rice, things of that sort. Next we have hydration. Can you go back, sorry. Next we have hydration. So we do want you to get at least 6 to 8 cups, and I prefer water, a day. So that's 48 to 64 ounces of water a day, minimum. It's hard. Sometimes you have to get the right water bottle, so maybe you need a straw to help it make it easier for you to drink water. Maybe you don't like your water being really cold, but whatever you can do to make it easier for you to drink your water, do it. Sometimes I'll play a game with my clients and patients. Whenever each other say the word water, we have to take a sip of water. Before you know it, I'm down like 120 ounces of water by the end of my workday. No exaggeration. So you can make little games. We call it habit stacking. So if there's something that you do a lot, you can pair it with something that you're trying to work on. So for some people, when they brush their teeth, they'll do air squats. That's like another example of habit stacking. But you can start to implement these little things in your day-to-day life, and eventually they will become a habit, and they won't seem so daunting. Next, we have choosing our whole foods over our ultra-processed foods. I like to think of it as fresh items or something that you can pick from a tree, pick from the ground, or has eyes on it. There are some other items that are still going to be whole foods that don't necessarily follow that exactly, but in general, if you can think about those 3 things, did it come from a tree, did I get it from the ground, or did it have eyes on it? That's a fresh item. And then we have eating the rainbow. So that's a slogan, but it is trying to get a different variety of colored fruits and vegetables. It is that actual pigmentation that is the antioxidant. So if you don't like strawberries, but you like tomatoes, amazing, they're both red. If you don't like kale, but you like spinach, amazing, they're both green. But you're trying to get the variety of them so that way you can encompass all the different benefits that they offer. For some individuals, including myself, I'm always very honest with my clients and patients, I may not be able to eat the rainbow during the day, but I could probably eat the rainbow during the week or during the month. So if you look at your cart and you recognize that you have a lot of red, yellows, and greens, then maybe your next shopping trip, you do the greens, the blues, and the purples, or the whites. So you can mix and match. Your body cares about big picture, what it's getting. Sometimes we don't have to over-specify on every little thing. Next slide. So in summary, really quickly, the steps to adopt a healthier diet: you're gonna swap out your processed foods for healthier fresh foods. You're gonna meal plan, and then we're gonna make it sustainable. So that's how you're gonna be able to maintain the consistency lifelong. And so now on the next slide and the next future slides, we're gonna get into how do we make it consistent or sustainable. Next slide. So quick tips for busy days. And again, you could apply this to other avenues in your life, but in general, if you know you're gonna be jumping from different appointments or different meetings or whatever it may be, can you pack a cooler in your car? Yes. Just like we were talking earlier, if you don't have a cooler, Amazon, they can get delivered to you. But pack a cooler, and then you can keep items that are fresh in your car, so that way you're not tempted on the way home to go stop by somewhere, or you just don't eat at all, and then you wait too long to eat. So having a cooler, I do this all the time, but really try to make it an option if it works for you. Then we have batch prepping, and then again, freezing them, so that way they don't continue to age. So quinoa is a common one. We have chopped veggies, soups, smoothie packs, and then some healthy breakfast sandwiches. So same thing, you can make those on a Sunday or a Monday. If you have 15 minutes randomly on a day, just start prepping something. So you don't have to do everything all in the same day. I don't either. Like, I seriously will do my grocery shopping on Friday nights when the grocery store is not busy, and then I'll tag team it over the weekend and even throughout the week. Also, that helps your leftovers not stay left over for as long. Then you have your sheet pan meals. These are really simple, easy options. You throw everything on one oven sheet, and then you pop it in the oven. So that way, again, if you had your veggies cut, whether you bought them pre-cut or you spent 15 minutes while you're watching a TV show cutting them, then you can just pop them in the oven, season them with all the rest of your proteins and healthy carbs. And then the crock pot or slow cooker, another easy way to create a healthy meal. You can always just do this for your protein source. Again, same idea. Maybe you come home from the day, you have your chicken in the crock pot, you prepped your quinoa, and you have your veggies cut. So now all you have to do is heat up the quinoa and then cook your vegetables. Next slide. These are some healthier grab-and-go items, so as is. So again, you can prep balanced smoothie packs on your own. In the packet, there will be a handout on how to make a balanced smoothie, because we don't just want this to be a sugar bomb. We need this to be a balanced smoothie, meaning you have the fiber in there, not just from the fruit. You have healthy fats. You also have your vegetables. You have your protein. So you can pre-prep little baggies of this if you want to. They're in your freezer, and then you can get a portable blender. Amazon has them. Hobby Lobby has them, but it's a travel-proof one that you just push with a little button, because I know smoothies can separate as they sit there for longer, but that's a really easy grab-and-go item that you can implement, and that'll be very full of antioxidants. Then you have your traditional yogurt parfait, so doing a Greek yogurt with low to no added sugar in it, and then instead of doing a granola, do a high-fiber cereal. So like grape nuts is an option, but use that as your granola because it's gonna have little to no, again, added sugar, and you're gonna get the fiber in there. You can do seeds like chia seeds or flax seeds. Flax seeds have more healthy fats in them, but chia seeds have a little bit more fiber. You can pick as you wish. And then the fruit of your choice. Bento boxes or the adult Lunchables. So same thing, look at your main little groups you're trying to work for. So your lean proteins, your healthy carbohydrates, your fruits and your veggies, which fruit is part of a healthy carb, and then where are you gonna get your fiber as well? Likely from the healthy carbs, but maybe it's from your veggies. And you can mix and match. So some people do wraps with them, you can do hard-boiled eggs, you can do veggies with hummus. They also have Greek yogurt dips available in the store. So same idea, don't overcomplicate it, just get a little container that has 3 sections in it and start to just separate them as you wish. And then we have egg white muffins. So these are great. You can also get them already prepared, but I always say save money, save sodium, salt, save fat, and make your own. You can also add your own veggies and you can flavor them as you wish. These are also great to throw into the freezer and grab as needed, but they're great as a snack. You can add them as a side, or you can make them into a breakfast sandwich or breakfast burrito using a tortilla or English muffin that is high in fiber. So we're not going for the white tortillas or the white English muffins. We're going for the whole wheat, high fiber up. Next slide. So some quick grocery hacks, just like Leanne was saying. So don't be afraid to use the delivery apps or do pickup. I know it's a little bit technological and it can get a little bit confusing, but I'm always more than happy to help my clients and patients work through that even during our sessions and make that list for them. But if you're on your way home, again, from appointments or maybe you're traveling, whatever it may be, you can have it ready to go so you swing by on your way home or it gets delivered to your front porch. Don't let that be an excuse. And if it's in the middle of the week and you're noticing that you're running low on vegetables and you don't want to go to the store, there's no excuses. You can get it delivered. Then we have our prepped produce, so you can buy them pre-cut, frozen, or canned. I always recommend if you're going to do a canned item that you rinse it under water in a colander just to get out some of the extra sodium. And again, you should always be getting the fruit in its own juice or in water, but still get out some of the extra sugar if it's not needed there. And then choosing shelf-stable proteins, so beans, you can do canned fish, dried edamame, nuts, kind of same idea. Rinse them, or at least, I always like to say, use them up sooner rather than later if it's gonna be a canned item in aluminum. And then grabbing a rotisserie chicken if you need to. So if you don't have a slow cooker or crock pot, or you forgot to throw it in before you left for the day, then grab a rotisserie chicken, because it's really easy to throw on top of things as well. Next slide. So this I could talk about for hours. It's one of my favorite topics, actually. And in the packet that you'll get, there's a quick little handout that will walk through this a little bit more, because it can be a little bit complicated and more in depth. But as we all know, with stress, sometimes we stress eat, meaning we don't eat at all, or we overeat. So I always like to say we want to make sure that you are not skipping meals. You're trying to eat every 3 to 5 hours. So if we need to set a timer to remind ourselves, let's do it. If we need to use liquid nutrition, so you're not really hungry, you don't have an appetite, nothing sounds good, but you know you need to get in nutrition, use liquid-based items like a soup or a stew. You can use protein drinks, you can do smoothies. I always recommend Kate Farms. This is like not even a plug. I seriously always recommend Kate Farms. They don't have any of the big 9 allergens. They don't use artificial sweeteners, and they use MCT oil, and they also will help try to see if your insurance will cover them as well. So Kate Farms is here, so I would seriously go try it out and check it out, but I always recommend Kate Farms. And same idea though, you can sip on those throughout the day if you need to, just to make sure you're still getting in some nutrition. Pausing before you're eating, so recognizing, am I eating because I'm hungry, because I know I need to eat, or because I'm stressed, sad, depressed, whatever the emotion is. Always recognizing that food will never solve the emotion. It's a false cue, it tricks you, but it will never solve the emotion. And there are other things that we can do to help us actually work through the emotion instead of just suppressing it with food. Then we have eating together when possible, so that just helps build a stronger relationship, form a stronger bond, make you feel less alone. And then reminding ourselves that food is a moment of self-care. So if you just nourishing yourself is how you're gonna take care of yourself. As a dietitian, that's amazing, but there are other forms, of course, that you can do self-care. But this is one step that I always highly recommend. And next slide. So these are some resources. I know it's small, it will be in a handout. These are different ways you can get recipes. And then on the right-hand side, there are some meal planning sites. These are super helpful because you can go through and click any food item that you don't want, whether it's because it's an allergy, an intolerance, or a sensitivity, or you just don't like them, and it will give you recipes that you can pull from. On top of that, if you pay for their versions, then you can add it to a meal plan, and it creates a grocery list for you already, so you don't have to do all the math in your head, and you can get that sent to a grocery store or get the groceries delivered. So, yeah, awesome. Okay, so in summary, you can't pour from an empty cup, so you need to feed yourself with care as well. Taking small steps to nourish yourself supports both your well-being and your ability to care for others, and self-care is never selfish. Thank you all.